I want to take you back to the 12th of May 1945. 4 days earlier, World War II had officially ended in Europe as the Allies accepted Germany's unconditional surrender, and people from across the continent erupted into celebration, finally being able to return to some sense of normalcy. No more air raids, no more curfews, and no more rations. The latter meant that paper would no longer be scarce, which was especially good news for book publishers. So, with a production run of around £1,569, Edmund Ward Limited released a book written by the Reverend Wilbert Awdry called The Free Railway Engines in shops across England. That's how the Railway series began, and over 75 years after its inception, its impact on both railways and popular culture is clear. Its most popular character doesn't need any introduction. He's arguably the most famous locomotive in the world, next to the likes of the Flying Scotsman, Big Boy, and Stephenson's rocket. Thomas has been an icon in children's entertainment for decades, but sadly, the man who helped Wilbert Awdry make him that icon has all but been forgotten. Reginald Payne was an illustrator, and that is almost everything that we know about him. I wasn't able to find anything about his life or work prior to the Railway series, and by 1948 he suffered a nervous breakdown from issues in the Admiralty, which prevented him from illustrating any future books. The pictures that you see in Thomas the Tank Engine are his legacy, and he was sadly never credited for them. That looks unlikely to change, as his successor, C. Reginald Dalby, was asked by Awdry and Edmund Ward to redraw Payne's original illustrations to correct some of the mistakes made in them, like the track work, the direction Thomas was travelling in, and Henry's funnel. You might think that it's not that big of a deal for him to go uncredited. He would have been paid well for his work, and a lot of illustrators went uncredited at the time anyway. And while that's true, it was a decision that Payne made regarding Thomas that makes him an important part of the character and the franchise's history. You see, before Reginald Payne, Thomas looked like this, an LNER J50 tank engine with the sloped side tanks connecting to the smoke box's front and yellow lining. It's definitely not the iconic design that we've come to know. When it came time to work on the book, Payne chose to illustrate Thomas as an E2 locomotive from the southern region instead of the J50. The reason why Payne chose to do this is up for debate, but we know that Awdry was initially annoyed by the change to the tank engine he'd initially drawn. However, once Payne explained that Thomas was still based on a real locomotive, Awdry became content and allowed him to continue. This choice made Reginald Payne the unintended co-creator of the most famous fictional steam locomotive of all time, and sadly, someone that most forgot about. His illustrations in the book are bold, eye-catching, and in my view, the most iconic in the Railway series. We may not know much about Reginald or his life, and it seems likely that his hand in Thomas's creation will go uncredited in future books, shows and films, but despite all of that, we can celebrate his art and keep his legacy alive.